Hello everyone, welcome to Otaku's Lounge. I will be your host, Sage Bimi. So, before we actually get into everything and everything in regards to Otaku's Lounge and what it will be all about, let me tell you a bit of how I actually got myself immersed into this world of becoming an otaku, a member of the culture. So, when I was a small kid, I used to watch, not really used to watch. Let me just give you the whole story as it is. Yeah. So when I was in, let's say, class 3, class 2, around there, my my brother had a movie shop. I had never actually been to his shop, so I was having all these fantasies, imagining how his movie shop looks like. Like I was in my head like no one's business here. Like, the way you see in American movies, these are like you enter into this big room, then there are, like, how should I call this? There's a rack where the movie CDs are placed inside. So that's the imagination that I had about my brother's movie shop. Because hey, anyways, I'm just a kid who was never been around the town. I only actually went places when I'm being taken around by my parents. So that was the only image that I had in my head of how a movie shop looks like. Yeah. So my brother used to have put a lot of movies inside his hard disk, and so when he wasn't around, I spent most of my time like watching whatever was on the hard disk. Yeah. So it got to a point I came across. I was just looking for cartoons because at the time I didn't know better. I was just thinking cartoons. So I came across Naruto, back the young version, Naruto, yeah. So I started watching this thing. Yes, it was not in English, but this young fella couldn't get enough of it. It was like this thing was just so interesting that my eyes were glued there like nobody's business. So I ended up immersing myself in this Naruto thing. And my other big brother used to come and he was like, your work is just watching cartoons. You should do something better. My big brother is my biggest brother. He's a corporate guy, so I ain't mad at him. I can't be mad at him. So after that incident, what happened was how you're told not to do something, then you just end up doing it. Like you get immersed doing it in depth. Like you even wonder to yourself is this really me? Is it really me? Because this deviant is like nothing I've seen before. So that's how I got immersed in the world of anime. I'll get to how I got to start reading manga and all that, but just bear with me. So what happened is as time went by, you add on to to that list. You start watching Dragon Ball Z. You start watching all this. I got to watching Bleach, but at that time, I felt like you see Bleach. It was a bit complex for me to understand. But when I went to church, there's this guy who had a PSP, man. You guys remember PSP back in the day, yeah? So he had this PSP, and he used to like have a couple of games, and at the time FIFA wasn't such a big thing because it hadn't been marketed like that, and we had all these other games. There was Tekken, there was Mortal Kombat, there was man, the old days, there was so much games. Yeah, he even had Naruto in the PSP, but he used to play Bleach a lot. Yeah, so like I got to playing this Bleach, and I was like, this thing is so interesting. The game is so interesting and it's so fun. Plus the action scenes, man. It was just something on its own level, man. So that's how like my childhood was in regards to anime. But when I got to around class 6, class 7, yeah, for the people who are not in my country, that's about grade 7, 8. I think grade 8, because grades go up to grade 13, I think. So I think it's grade 10, I think. So when I got there, I started talking with this guy. We were actually in the same class, huh? So while we were conversing, I got to realize that this guy he's really into this world, man, and he's like, he like has this knowledge that makes me like feel yes, I've found my tribe, man. This my people, man. So like we got to interacting, we got to do a lot of stuff together, and I was like I was just immersed in the world. You get to understand. You get what I'm trying to say, yeah. So while talking to him, I came to discover there's actually, it's not just Naruto, Bleach. There's all these other things inside. So he starts telling me about this other world that he's been in. So it got to a point that I was like, this thing is just so interesting, and the way he talks about it passionately, you get what I'm trying to say. So I ended up like we like when it came to talking about anime and stuff, we were just so close on it. So we started like leaving school together, and this was during the weekends most of the time, when we walked all the way from our school into the CBD just to like get to the movie shop. We ate and did all that stuff, but he lived around town, so for him it wasn't really that much, but for me, I had to pass around town just to get home. So while we were like doing these walks, talking and enjoying ourselves while on the way to school, what happened is we created a bond, and we started talking. So it got to a point that while we got see, I told you guys that my brother had this movie shop. So I introduced him to like that movie shop, and the neighbor's movie shop that was around my brother's movie shop. So it got to a point that my brother closed up his shop because he got employed, and what has happened? Yeah, so we actually like, since he was employed and there was no shop, so we started like going for movies in another place. There's this time that I was picked up from school, so I didn't go with him. So he ended up getting this hentai, and he watched it, and he was telling me all about it, and he's telling me these things, and my eyes are like, they're lighting up, like, what the hell is this guy talking about, huh? Like it sounded so interesting, yet so if I get caught saying this, man, it might be dangerous, it might be risky. It's like I'll be risking my life, man. So it got to a point that I asked him like, yo, see, you give me the disc here, and after I finish watching it, I'll give it back to you. So we actually did a trade-off here. While doing this, what happened is he gave me it, and I went, and that was the first time I watched my first Oni-chan moment, and I got to like wonder what else is out there. So like this guy, he introduced me to like as much as yes, he introduced to me to Oni-chan. I also got to figure out like this. There's this whole world of anime where there's action. Apart from action, there's martial arts. Apart from that, there's also romance. There's also seinen, there's shonen, there's comedy, there's all of this, and you can find one anime has like 5 of these. Like it has harem, it has action, it has romance. I got to like experience this whole world that I didn't know existed, and I was like so fascinated, and I was like, I need more, more. So it got to a point that Sage was completely drenched in this. He couldn't hold himself. So after like I finished, no, I think after I finished high school, I didn't enjoy. Okay, I actually watched series and movies to the point I got bored. Then what happened is I got to a point that I stumbled upon like Yu Yu Hakusho. So after that, henceforth, because I watch Yu Yu Hakusho on YouTube, after that I just dove deeper and deeper and deeper. So in WhatsApp, I actually, it was in Snapchat, I got to meet this guy. He actually was in this group, and I was like, yo, so you add me in this group, bro. After getting to this group, I realized like these people are in a whole new world. Like it's an otakus all around, left, right, and center. So what happened is I actually talked to this guy. I call him Shinsu, like the guy from Mortal Kombat. So while he and I were talking, what happened was I saw like this guy has watched like a lot. Like, how the hell and when did you get to watch all of this, and where was I when you were watching all of this? So he gave me like a recommendation list, and he told me like, have you watched Golden Boy? Like, this was the first time that I watched like a harem, like a really clean harem. So like I said, he actually gave me like a long list here. Then he told me, if you haven't watched Golden Boy, it should be the first thing that you watch. Yeah. So actually it's a seinen, if I'm not mistaken. Golden Boy is a seinen, and Ecchi as well. Yeah. So like I dived deep and started watching Golden Boy, and I was like, what? This guy, he was like, girls were like on him left, right, and center. Like, he wasn't really interested because he was trying to live life this other side, but this guy, he was just on his own league everywhere he goes. Like, these girls are on him. After like watching Golden Boy, I got to all this other stuff deep inside. Then it got to a point that I think it was the time when there was this sickness going around the pandemic. So during that time, what happened was I couldn't like how should I say this? I couldn't like watch because okay, actually watched. I watched this Kimetsu no Yaiba. After watching Demon Slayer, it got to a point that I felt like it's ended so abruptly, and I was like, I need more. Like, you're a junkie, you want more. After that, I also watched this other one. It's called I don't think it's called Vikings. It's called what? What's the name of this? I don't understand why the name is running away from my mind. But it's about this young guy who his father is a king, but he thinks that he's not man enough, so he sends him to the front line of the army. Then over there he gets his epiphany, and he becomes he gets to understand how the world works. Yeah, I can't believe I've forgotten the name of this anime. The way it was so interesting and got me like to like get deep thinking, because it makes you realize how the world works, because it's a step-by-step process. You're a naive young man, then all of a sudden you get to understand all these things in the real world, because it portrays it and drives it on a slow basis that you get to understand what's happening here. So after watching that, and I was like, it's not complete. Like, why is it not complete? I was kind of more frustrated than I was happy. So what happened is I said, you just don't know, because if it's ongoing, you can't do anything about it. Yeah, until I discover otherwise that you can actually do something about it. Yeah. But we'll get there to how you can do something about it. We're not rushing anything. So like while he and I were no, I got to discover this other anime that is going around. I think most of the guys have watched it. It's called Town of God. Yeah. So while watching Tower of God, these people like are in this testing room, and I'm like, wow, this thing is so interesting. I was so hooked and I couldn't do anything about it. Like you can imagine, like, you are really hooked, man. Yeah. So it got to a point that it says that's how it ended, and it feels like, no, that's not how it ended. Kojili. The reason why I'm saying this is because it wasn't written on going on 9 anime or anime pahe. So I was like, what? How am I going to survive without this anime, man? The way it's so interesting, and I love it, and I want to watch more, and I wish I could scream like a little girl, but that's the sound that I'm making anyways. So I'll refrain from doing that. I actually told myself I won't react like emotionally or anything. So during this process, what happened is someone told me, if it's not someone, like, I remembered back when I was in primary school, I used to read like Naruto, because there's a time that ongoing watching it was slower, and that guy who I told you about, he actually told me that you could be reading it, which is much more faster than watching the episodes. So I started reading. That was back then. I had stopped reading, yeah. So I just decided, like, let me search for this Tower of God. I realized that there are apps, people reading mangas, manhwas, manhua. And I was like, damn, this all new, and it keeps on going, yeah. and it gets better. So I get to discover that manhwa, manga, manhua, like this thing is much detailed than watching anime. It's much detailed, and it has this, when you just get to understand what this author is talking about, the description, it's just on point for the people who like appreciate details. So when it got to that point what happened is I decided like, let me just read the door of God. I'll continue from where I had been. So I downloaded an app and started doing it. I think it was manga reader. I don't know. I think it was manga reader. So while reading this, I get to discover like I can't just jump to where I was inside the anime because it's completely different, man. Things don't make sense. As in, you can't pick things up, but there's this thing. There's 1 + 1 + 3 × 4 divided by 42 time plus 27 minus 85. And I was like, how am I going to do all this calculation and I don't know how to add, divide, subtract, or multiply? So I decided that before I do anything, let me just start Tower of God again. And this story was just on another level. So I dived deep into it. I read like 500 chapters, got to the finish line. I was like, what next? It can't end like this. Kumbe it's still ongoing as well. So I have to wait for the next chapter. So I look for something else to read. Because they got to a time when you're watching Isekai and it's an ongoing one. When it gets to episode 15 or 12, that's the end. And you realize that you have to wait for season 2. They'll take like 6 years or 2 years before they do a season 2. So you like look for all stuff that has more episodes than 100 so that you don't get that agitation and wonder what next, what's going to happen. So like after that point, what happened was you get to want just more. It's like you're a junkie, you can't get enough of this stuff. So that's how I got to like watching. If it's an anime, I look for one with like more than 100 episodes. That's how I got to watch Fairy Tail. That's how I got to start watching One Piece and all these other ones with many episodes like Hunter x Hunter. But you couldn't get enough fun from such anime like Mob Psycho 100 or Psycho Pass or Tomb. But you just have to, you just have to like look for that entertainment, that fun moment that you can't stay without. So like I have watched a lot and I still can't get enough of it. I think it's just how these people deliver their messages, because it's not only entertaining but it's also educative, because it's like they go deep into philosophy more than you could have ever thought. Anyways, let me get back to like how I started reading manga. Then I introduced myself to manhua. Then all of a sudden I'm diving deep into all of these materials, and I'm like, hey, these people are doing their work overtime, man. They should get paid for all this work that they're doing, man. It's amazing. People should figure out all of this here. So you get to watch animes of Ecchi like High School DxD, and you're like, God damn, like it got me. So that was like my journey even Demon Slayer, I got to read like the manga, got to understand like how Michael Jackson wants Nezuko, and it was like, wow, this thing just gets juicier because being left at the trainer wasn't doing anything for me. I wasn't up for it. So after that, what happened is I decided that we're going to be like doing stuff here together. We are going to be reviewing anime. This will come from like a guy who's coming from Africa, a guy who doesn't know much about the world out there, but knows much about the world inside Kenya. So that was basically our introduction, and I hope to see you guys on the next episode where we'll deep dive into this erotic. It's really an erotic manga, and while before we start, I'll tell you how I got to discover it and my situation at that time, on how like I got to understand this erotic man. As for guys, man, I don't know. As much as, man, I love these women, man. Hey, these women making us do things, man. Anyways, welcome to Otaku's Lounge, and I'll see you in the next video.